It's Monday, July 21st, 2025, and this is episode 340 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, as always, how you doing?
Good. How's things going there in San Diego?
Not too bad. A couple of trips out to the casino. I'll talk to you about one of them here. It was okay. So, yeah, looking forward to Blackhawk and some upcoming trips.
Yeah, I've got to make my reservations. I keep needing to do that. But
I do too.
I don't think it's going to be a problem, but...
I don't think so either, but I do want to get flights. I'm not concerned about the hotel so much. I just want to get a decent flight for a decent price and good seats. So, yeah.
Yeah, same here. I need to get the flight thing scheduled.
So, yeah, again, that's September 11th through the 14th. We'll mention again later in the show. All right, so last week, listener Andrew came to visit in San Diego. Of course, you remember Andrew, Dr. Mike. We used to go to Harrah's with him all the time when he lived here in town.
Yeah, he just lived right by my office there. So
yeah, that's right, real close to us.
It was convenient, yeah.
So he was in town last week, and he was saying, well, let's go somewhere. What do you suggest? And I suggested Sequan, since he had never been there before. And so we met up there last Wednesday. When he got there, first thing he did was go get a player's card. Always a good move. And they said that he already had an account, that he had been there before. So they just printed up a new card for him. And, he was saying to me, I sure don't remember this place. I'm thinking, well, guys, you'd think you'd remember it pretty well. I mean, it's a nice property and it's different from the rest of the properties in town.
Yeah, just heading out there, you think the road and everything, that would ring a bell.
Yeah. But anyway, whatever, he didn't know. So we looked around a little bit. I kind of showed him some places and we played some craps. It went okay. It was kind of just hovering. We didn't play for too long. And after we cashed out, he was looking at the player's card that they had given him, and he noticed that it was the wrong last name. So apparently they assumed he was somebody else, and just gave him a new card on this account.
Well, why would they assume he was someone else?
I don't know.
I mean, was the name close?
It was close-ish. Somebody, probably looked at his driver license and just kind of, okay, I know what it is, and kept
Well,
typing.
when the names popped up on the screen, this is him.
That's probably it. Yes. Yeah. Because it was close, and the first name was correct. So anyway, we went back to the Players Club. He explained what happened, and it was actually very easy to work out. Okay, yeah, I see it. So they created a new account for him, gave him $10 free play, which is what they do for new players. And also, this was nice, gave me a $10 free play for referring him. Because I was standing right there. But then Andrew asked, what about the points that I earned while we were playing craps? Is there any way that can be transferred from, whoever's account it was applied to my account? And they said, we'll have to check with IT. That's not something that we could do right here. But we're going to check, and we'll get back to you within the next couple of days. Okay, that's fair enough. So we went and ate and played our free play, and then I said, okay, I'm heading out now. I got to get back. And he said, all right, I'm going to play a little more here, see if I can find some good slot opportunities. So he's playing at a slot, and one of the employees came up to him. He had his card in the slot, so they knew where he was. And they said, we're very sorry. It turns out it would be quite difficult to transfer those points from whoever the player's account was they initially gave him to your account. Will you take $50 in free play instead?
Wow.
Yeah. So, of course, Andrew said yes.
Yeah, of course.
Great customer service. Andrew was very impressed and has nothing but good things to say about Sequan. So,
see, now that's a great thing because that not only does it make Andrew happy and might come back and play there, but word gets passed around and people think, hey, they're a fair casino. Let's go there.
The offer is great by itself, but just the fact that who was ever working at the Players Club was trying, I wonder if we can find him. I wonder if he's still here. Took the time.
Through. Yeah, that's the part that gets me is the follow through. I mean, that they even looked into it.
Yes.
Because
really.
Say, oh, well, we'll look into it and then just never do it. And
right.
Andrew wouldn't have come back and complained.
yeah.
And easily it could have said, oh, the guy who handles that's not here till tomorrow. Can you come tomorrow? Something like that. Right. Give him some line. But no, they followed through. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And, Andrew's, he may come back to Saquon, but no time soon, right? He doesn't live in town anymore. He's able to play that $50. I don't know how he didn't let me know how the $50 turned out, but it doesn't really matter, right? He was just playing some slots, so he probably kept going.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and they're in Arizona, so they're not that far away. And
and they're going to visit.
They do come to San Diego to go to the beach and all that. Yeah. I have two questions.
Okay.
One, and probably the most important thing is then, is it going to be Andrew or the other Andrew with a similar name coming to Blackhawk?
That's a really great question. I think it's going to be the Andrew that I actually ate dinner with and played craps with.
Okay, good.
But I'm not sure how these computers work. If the other Andrew shows up, I got an invitation. I don't know any of you people.
Yeah. Well, he'll have fun too. I mean, he obviously likes casinos.
Excellent question, Dr. Mike. What's your second question?
My second question is, how is craps out there at Saquon now?
It's the same as when you and I went. So still just one table.
Still just one table.
But never crowded. At least one, even in evenings. I haven't been there maybe on a busy weekend. But always able to get a spot. 5 times odds. Yeah. Usually $15 minimum, sometimes $10 minimum. But it's the same as when you were out last time.
Okay. Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah, because at Waterloo out here, Waterloo, Iowa, one table too. Never hard to get on. Well, I've never had a hard time getting on, even on a Saturday night. I don't think I've ever seen it full. And $5 limit. I mean, it's crapless.
But that's $5. The thing. That's crap. That's the only table they have now is crapless, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing they have is crapless.
That's too bad. But
I mean,
it doesn't really affect you too much because that's kind of the way you play anyway, is with place bets and buy bets and things like that. But I mean, I'd be tempted to go all the way across, every shooter, try to hit those outside numbers. That can eat you up pretty quick if you're not hitting those.
It can also build you up pretty quick too if somebody hits a couple of 2s or 12s in their roll.
Oh yeah. That's all it
things
takes.
Like that. Yeah. But I mean, $5, heck, you can't beat that.
No,
and I can't tell you how many people go across for like 5 on every number.
Okay. Yeah, and they're all place bets, right? Even those outside numbers, which is fine. You don't want to pay the
But when they hit, then they convert it to a buy bet,
Yeah. Well, it was great to see Andrew. Yeah, like you said, we'll see him in Blackhawk, hopefully.
Yes, I'm looking. That's the main reason I'm going, is you and Andrew, Mark.
Me and Andrew. Great.
Yeah, and Sherry. Okay.
Oh, we got an email from listener Chris from Austin. He wrote, yesterday in Pasadena, Texas, a tied runoff election was resolved by a coin flip. I did a quick Google search for the election code and found that the law says the candidates shall cast lots, which I guess can be translated into flipping a coin, right?
Well, I don't know.
That's the way it was written. But anyway, they flipped a coin. Chris is asking, can you come up with a better approach than a coin flip? Now, I guess the question is, do we want to make it completely random? And casting lots, that sounds like in the law, they want it to be random. So I guess we shouldn't come up with some sort of feats of strength or something like that. What do you think, Dr. Mike? Anything better than just a coin flip?
When I think of casting lots, I think of a couple of bones or, dice in dice, this case. First one to get a 12 or something. But I've got some way better ways to do it than that.
Oh, I was hoping you would. What are they?
Well, if it's a tie and you want it to be completely random, I think rock, paper, scissors, Spock, lizard.
Rock, papers, right.
And they're in 2 different rooms, like those interrogation rooms you see on TV the cops have.
Uh-huh.
They can't see each other or hear each other or anything, and they just have to give their signal.
Okay.
If it's rock, paper, scissors, and it's, best out of 5 or something like that.
All right, but you want Spock and Lizard in there also, which is a Big Bang Theory reference.
Yeah.
So but first you'd have to explain that to
Spock.
them.
Well, it's more complicated than rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. All right. Any other suggestions, Dr. Mike? So you said you had a bunch, but is that really it?
No, I could come up with a bunch.
Well, don't come up with them. Do you have them or not?
Well, I had other ones, but they involved maybe not so random, like arm wrestling.
Or
something like that.
Trivia or
yeah, trivia. I just find that's a crazy way to settle an election.
Yeah, but that's in the law,
just
so
have a runoff or something, do it again.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
That costs a lot of money. That's a lot more expensive than flipping a coin.
Yeah, I'd hate to be the loser, though. God, why did I call heads? Yeah. Why did I call heads? Everyone knows you should call tails.
All right, so Mike's good suggestion is rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. Now, Chris has an additional question. Do you think you can bet on that? Do you think you can bet on the coin flip or in, whatever it takes to determine a winner?
I would assume no if it's an election, because that would enter into somebody like trying to buy the coin flipper off.
Well, here's the thing. Chris didn't say...
Because there's professional coin flippers.
Yeah, Chris didn't say, do you think you can legally bet on that? He didn't say that. And the name of our show is You Can Bet on That. So, of course, you can bet on that.
Yeah, I would take bets on it. It might not be legal, but I'm sure they were taking bets on it.
And then Chris's final question, what is the strangest thing you've bet on? And I'm trying to think, Mike, strangest thing? I don't know. Do you have anything?
Yeah, not really. We plenty of sports bets with friends.
We don't usually, a lot of people do prop bets with each other. Like, oh, do you think I can throw this penny into that garbage can over there? We've never really done that, have we? For as much as we gamble, we've never done stuff like that.
I guess the craziest thing we do, Mark, is playing Pai-Gow on the plane.
But that's not weird, right?
And that's not too weird. But you're going to Vegas. You've got an hour flight, and you're playing Pai-Gow. You're already down. I'm already down when I land.
Well, that's true. But I bet a lot of people gamble on planes on the way to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah,
that's probably a popular thing to do.
Remember when we went on that junket to Elko?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Remember they had gambling on the plane?
Oh, right. Sponsored
by the plane.
Yeah, it was like some kind of bingo or something. Okay.
So, it was maybe, some kind of stuff.
And I think we participated in that. So maybe that was the strangest
I did.
thing.
I know I did. Yeah, that's probably the strangest thing.
Let's say that was the strangest thing. Or, hey, is it your birthday?
Yeah.
Hey, is it somebody's birthday?
And you play 52 card pickup.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
That is so hard to do on a plane.
It's very hard. It gets under people's seats and, can you move your foot, sir?
Can you imagine? Now you'd end up on some social media post.
Oh, yeah. These
getting arrested because he played 52 card pickup. Plane was diverted to land somewhere.
That's right.
I was just trying
who would
to
have done that? Oh, wait, I see the picture. It's Dr. Mike. Now I understand.
Oh, nowadays you dare not say anything joking or because seriously you get in trouble. I bet you now if I asked for, an almond joy, I'd probably get in trouble.
Oh, yeah. They'd escort you off. Yeah. Sir, we don't have almond joy. We've never had almond joy.
Why would you ask for almond joy? Me. Is this some kind of plot?
Well, thanks for those questions, Chris. We also got an email from listener John from Yuma. He says, I recently picked up Vegas from Fremont to the Strip, the book Mark from 360 Vegas wrote. As I'm reading it, I realized when I think back to Vegas's heyday of the 60s through the 90s, I think of every casino through the lens of how they ended up. Small, cramped, low ceilings, ready to go, etc. And I know you guys were both going to Vegas 30 plus years ago before the mega resort change of the 90s. I rarely ever think of places like the Sands and the Desert Inn as being the chic or opulent ways they were intended. I'm just wondering what you guys remember from those old properties, specifically the Sands and the Desert Inn. Maybe the Dunes too, but I don't know as much because I haven't gotten that far in the book yet. So yeah, Mike, Sands, Desert Inn. I
think Desert Inn was the most posh.
But by today's standards, if you were to walk into the Desert Inn, it magically could appear for a day. You wouldn't think much of it because of what has come since. Correct. Bellagio and Wynn and stuff like that.
It was a different era to be chic and kind of exclusive didn't mean you need a lot of flowers and fountains. Well, and
Vegas
that.
wasn't even about that at that point.
No,
sure, it catered to high rollers.
It was a place for gamblers.
The Desert Inn, I just remember how quiet it was.
Oh,
you go in and it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. When we would go in, we'd feel a little out of place only because it was a $25 table. So, this was back in the 80s when it's like, oh my gosh, you never saw a $25 table. And we would, be scared about betting that much. But did they have music playing at all? I just remember there was
if they did, it was extremely low. Yeah. That place was so quiet. And even the slot machines that they had off to the sides were not
Yeah, you didn't even hear all the clanging.
Yeah, you didn't hear anything really. It was like, it was like a ghost town. But that's where all the real gamblers and big names hung out.
Yeah, and Sands, Dunes, I'll even say Stardust. Again, if you could magically go back, you might think, oh, what's the big deal here? So it's more nostalgia than anything else. I think we took a junket to the Sands once. And
we did.
Had a very good time there playing blackjack. I remember there was a dealer there, was a young woman, and you could tell she didn't really want to be at work. And by the end of the session, she was like laughing and having fun with us. So I just remember that as being
I believe that was the dealer that I said she had nice hands.
It was arms.
Arms. That was it.
You said, hey, look at her arms. Aren't those nice arms? It reminds me of our friend Angela's arms. Don't you think she has similar arms to Angela? Oh, yeah, very nice arms.
And then she had such a look on her face like, oh. And then after that, it seemed like she was very
Then she kind of got our sense of humor. It's like, at first it's like, who are these creeps, right?
Yeah, right. Who are these idiots? And that was a fun trip.
Dunes, again, a typical casino. I remember it was the first place I ever got tipped by like a high roller, right? I was shooting and he tipped me, threw me some green chips or something. I do remember, Mike, we were at Dunes once. We were in Vegas. We didn't have a room yet. We just drove there figuring we'd be able to get a room. And it was at Dunes and people were going up to the counter. Hi, do you have any rooms? Nope, we got no rooms. If the Queen of England showed up, we wouldn't have a room for her. I mean, those were the words they used, right?
That was the exact thing he said, yeah.
And then after we played a little bit, you said something like, oh, we don't have a room. Do you think we get one? Yeah, we could probably get one for you. So we got a room at the Dunes that even Queen Elizabeth couldn't have gotten.
Right.
Well, she's not a gambler, so they don't care whether she's there.
Yeah. Why would they want her there? There's a bunch of ruckus is what that would be. Yeah, that was funny. And I can't not think of the Dunes and think of that buffet that we had.
Oh, the buffet.
The buffet.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I know where there's a good buffet.
You were just talking it up. Come on. This is such a great buffet.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks. Well, it's gone now. The Dunes is gone.
It was such a dump. Oh, my God.
It was terrible. The buffet was
Well, the thing is, it wasn't a buffet in like a buffet setting.
It was like in one of the conference rooms.
It was like in a room and somebody, brought out a pot of slop and, okay, here's the buffet.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But those places, they had a certain appeal to them and I kind of liked it. We were young.
Yeah, and I don't know that we can really express our feelings about them because, again, it's more nostalgia than anything. But, it's nothing like the resorts that are there now.
No, and to me, I don't know about you, but the first one where I felt, okay, things are really, really changing was Mirage.
Oh, of course. It was Mirage. I remember taking my grandparents there, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
This is opened, a game changer, and it really was.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, And then ever since then, they just keep outdoing each other. Yeah. Casinos back then didn't have stuff like...
Well, like fancy restaurants.
Or even fancy restaurants.
Right, it was, buffet. And sure, they had a steakhouse. They might have a nice place to eat, but certainly not, known chefs and five-star.
No. And every casino pretty much then had a cafe. If they didn't have a big buffet,
cafe or a coffee shop,
a coffee shop type thing, which was always open 24/7.
Right.
So you could always get food anytime you wanted in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a different feel. The rugs were old and dirty. It was real gambling then.
Well, good. Thanks for the question, John. All right, Mike, a trend I guess you can call it that's sweeping the nation, is this thing called blind ranking. You get it on YouTube channels and on some podcasts.
I've seen it.
Right?
Yeah.
And listener Nick suggested that maybe I throw you some blind rankings. Dr. Mike, might be a little fun, right? Here's the idea behind the blind rankings. We're going to use 5 rankings here. I have a topic that I've come up with, and there are 5 entries in this topic. And you need to rank them from highest to lowest, 1 through 5. But the catch is, I'm only going to give you one item at a time, and you don't know what items are coming after that. So you kind of have to maybe anticipate what I've chosen, that kind of thing. So the topic is going to be Caesars properties in Las Vegas. So Caesars entertainment properties in Las Vegas, you've got to rank them 1 to 5. I picked 5 items, but then I used a randomizer to randomly list them. So I'm going to give them to you in a random order. So the order is not going to be affected by my feeling. Like I'm not saving what I think is number 1 for last or anything. 5 Caesars properties, you got to place them 1 through 5. All right, the first one is the Cromwell.
I'm going to go with 5.
Okay, the lowest. You're going with 5 for Cromwell.
Yep.
Not bad based on what we've talked about Cromwell lately. You know, it used to be one of our favorites, and now it's maybe our least favorite.
And the casino floor is kind of long and narrow.
And, you know, they got rid of the rules. We've had some bad experiences with dealers there. It's not our go-to place anymore.
Well, yeah, and the cage is way in the back.
Okay.
Back there.
Oh, let me write this down so I don't forget. Cromwell, you put at the bottom, number 5. Okay, next is Harrah's.
Harrah's. I'm going to put Harrah's at, I'm tempted to say 4, but I'm going to say 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because I do have fond memories of playing there. And the staff's always been really nice.
Pretty good. I don't know about lately, but so you put Harrah's at number 3. Okay, next is Planet Hollywood.
I'm going to put them at 1.
Love it.
I like the atmosphere there. The dealers. I like kind of everything about that place, other than the music gets a little loud at some points.
Right.
But that's not a terribly big deal with me.
Yep. So we got to worry about loud music. I don't mind the loud music, and they need to replace those TVs, or at least replace the setup for those TVs.
Yeah,
it's
those
embarrassing.
TVs are terrible.
Yeah. All right. Planet Hollywood, you put it number 1. Next, Caesar's Palace.
I'll put that at 2.
Sure.
Just because of the forum shops and I don't know. I could name several negative things about Caesar's Palace, and I could name several positive things about it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that the new rooms are so far from the casino floor.
Oh, everybody complains about that. Yeah.
But if you stay in the old tower, the rooms aren't anything to speak of.
I remember when you made reservations once, you said, I want to stay at the old tower. You do, sir? You're 7 stars. You could qualify. Nope. I want to be able to get off the elevator and step up
and
to the
be
table.
right in the casino. Yep. And that's the way the old tower is. You get out and there you are.
Yep. All right. Caesar, you put it number 2. So your last property that's going to go at number 4, because you have no choice, Flamingo.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you did very well, Dr. Mike.
I'd say Flamingo fits in 4.
Yeah. So here's what you came up with. Planet Hollywood, number 1. Caesar's Palace, number 2. Some people might swap those, but I wouldn't. I'd put Planet Hollywood above Caesar's. Yeah. Harrah's, number 3. Flamingo, number 4. Maybe those could get swapped. I don't know. Harrah's a little rough around the edges, but so is Flamingo. Yeah, so that's fine. So
is Flamingo. They could get swapped.
Yep.
And Cromwell could maybe be 4 instead of 5.
Yeah, maybe. But Cromwell, number 5. Very good, Mike. I think you...
Yeah, I think if you had asked me that, not blindly, but just said rank these 5, I think I would have probably...
You may have come up with that. So
come up with the same. I'm surprised you didn't put the new horseshoe in there.
I thought about it. You know, I could have put horseshoe. I could have put Paris. But those are the ones I came up with. Maybe next time I'll try to come up with 5 that will result in some crazy rankings. But for now, you did very well.
Yeah, come up with not like Caesar's properties, but any casino in the Vegas area, downtown.
All right. Well, I'll probably come up with a completely different topic like table games or...
Yeah, okay. There you go.
You know.
I would just like to see Imperial Palace on the list sometime.
Oh, okay. So maybe we'll do some defunct casinos, rank these, because you want Imperial Palace on there.
Oh, Imperial Palace would be at the very bottom.
All right,
God, I did not like that place.
But who knows? You may already give up the 5th spot when Imperial Palace
to somebody else.
Right. I think everybody knows how this works. So, maybe we'll make this a semi-regular segment on the show.
See, the fact that I can see the future is helping me a lot in these blind rankings. Like when I walk in the door in a casino, I can see the future. I can see myself walking out with an empty wallet and a sour filling.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. YouCanBetOnThat.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. And Andrew and I did a little experiment while he was here. You can access that link from a mobile device. And if you've got the Amazon app loaded onto your phone, when you click that link, it'll take you to the app. And then I assume we get credit for it. That part of the experiment we didn't actually figure out, but it should work. I imagine it will.
Okay.
All right.
I know my daughters have been loading it up.
Okay, good. Let's move on to voicemails. First up, our good friend Todd Goddess.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Todd Goddess from Minnesota here. Great seeing you at 360 Vegas Vacation last weekend. There was one significant crap story, and honestly, a little upsetting that I thought I'd share. Several of us went to the Palms because we'd heard that they might have a $5 table, and sure enough, they did. I can't remember the last time I played on a $5 table, so I was really happy to play at low stakes. There were about 5 or 6 guys there who said they were part of a craps YouTube group. They all had matching uniforms. Clearly it was some kind of dice influencing group, and they definitely loved talking about their successes. But I'm with you guys. I don't really believe in dice influencing, but hey, they were kind of fun to watch with their pre-shot routines, their complaints about chips in landing zones, tracking rolls, etc. I was actually getting a kick out of it and not really annoyed by it until I cashed out. One of the guys had a point of 10. I had a $5 pass line bet with 10 odds, along with a 6 and 8. My friend Kelly also had 5 on the line with 10 odds, and she also had a $5 hard 10. If the hard 10 rolled, it would have brought her back to even for the session. We were clearly cheering for the hard 10, not really loudly, just a normal conversational voice, like, come on, let's see the 10, 55 right here, let's go, shooter. Well, eventually he 7'd out, and both Kelly and I colored up. As the dealers were counting out the chips, the guy approached us and said, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I understand it. You want to see the 10, but you're only betting $15. I've got 460 out here on the box numbers, and you're keeping asking for the 10, 55, hard 10. It's really mentally distracting." Now, his tone of voice wasn't rude. He was actually being serious about it, almost trying to be apologetic and cordial as he absconded us for, cheering for the point. Hello? Mentally distracting? I was completely shocked, but kept my mouth shut. Kelly told him she would have gotten back to even if he'd rolled the hard 10, so of course she wanted to see 55. He just replied saying, "It's distracting. Keep that in mind." So bizarre. I guess I would think that such a successful craps player might be playing a $100 minimum table at the Wynn, not $5 at the Palms. What are your thoughts? Thanks for the show, guys. Bye.
Is this the first craps table they've ever been to? Of course people cheer like that. Mentally distraction. It kind of reminds me of what we were talking about in the previous show about that guy Tim out at Harrah's, right?
Yeah, right.
You're not even trying. Pay attention. Concentrate.
That's what you should have said to him, Todd. Well, if you were trying harder, or if you were more mentally acute, maybe you'd be able to get past that cheering for the point.
I know you're just trying to have a good time, but when you're rooting for the point, we all do. That's part of the fun of the. All right, I don't need to go on any further. It's
mentally distracting. Distracting is when you have to go to the bathroom so bad, but you're in the middle of a hot roll.
Yeah.
And if you leave, they're going to pass the dice because it's just such a crowded table. That's distracting.
All right. Well, thanks for the report, Todd. Good to hear about the $5 craps at Palms, too. So that's good.
Now, let me ask you, Mark, if a guy takes that so serious that he really believes that someone cheering And I don't see Todd being super loud or anything.
Not as loud as you or I.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I could see someone yelling at me, but if somebody takes that so serious, what's their real life like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Todd did say the guy was nice. He wasn't rude about it, but it must be hard to just live.
Why bring it up?
Yeah.
That's his excuse for 7ing out.
It must be, right? That was probably it. Well, the reason I 7'd out was because you were cheering for the point.
Because I threw that perfectly to get a hard 8.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Jason again from North Carolina, coming to you with another trip report from Caesars, Virginia. All right, so this past Thursday, I went to Caesars, Virginia for the first time since March Madness, and I had my first ever long craps session. So I went up there with about $200, and I just wanted to play conservatively on craps because they had a deal where if you play at least, I think it was 60 minutes of any live table game, you get a additional 60 tier credits, Caesars Awards, plus a $20 meal voucher. So I went there, and they only had one table open. It was a crapless one. It was a weekday, about a little early afternoon I went there. But it was a great table. The table was on fire. There were a lot of good shooters, a lot of points being rolled. I really wanted to press, but I was kind of scared to lose, more money because I was right there on the hour mark. So I just hanged in there. Then the shooter after me, once I 7'd out, he went on a heater, and I had some great field bets. It was a great shooter. Then once he 7'd out, I left the table, and I was about $150. So I went over to the roulette table. I put $50 on black, and you know what happened? It went on 00 for the third time in 4 spins. So I went over to the high limit room. I played $25 a draw on video poker. It was jacks or better, and I got drew and a full house, so $65. I got there. Maybe it was a $5 bet, but wherever it was, came up $150 up, and it was a great time playing craps for about 2 hours, and I got my meal voucher, so that was nice. So yeah, all around great time at Sears, Virginia. I can't wait to go back. Hopefully I'll go back this coming 4th of July weekend with some family. So yeah, it should be a fun time. But yeah, you guys are doing great in the podcast. Love hearing you guys' stories and all the new games you guys run into. This is Jason from North Carolina, signing out.
All right, so some good news there. Midweek, you can get a food voucher if you play at the tables there. So that's a good tip.
That's nice. I like his never give up attitude,
Just kept going, even though he saw the 3
After
zeros
that
in a row.
depressing roulette stuff, I'll go somewhere else to get my money back.
There you go. That is a Dr. Mike philosophy.
Yeah, that is. That's right up my alley, Mark.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Just wanted to call and give my last trip report. I live in Atlanta, but, I take the 2-hour drive and 2.5-hour drive up to Cherokee and Murphy pretty much every other week or, a couple times a month at least. But my last trip, I was at Murphy, and, I was playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and I got rinsed in that pretty quick. Played some high card flush, got a 6-card flush, which was pretty cool. But then, me, I went back to UTH to get some revenge, and, that didn't work out too well. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go throw $100 in pinball. Was playing on $10 denom, ended up hitting the $100 pinball bonus, so got $1,000. I'm a craps player, so I went over to craps, and I was like, I'm just going to throw $200 in and see what I can spin up to that. I usually place all the numbers, and work the hard ways and all of that. But I was like, I'm going to try a different strategy tonight. So I did an iron cross strategy, placed the 5, 6, and 8 and played the field. Well, the shooter rolled for an hour and a half. I ended up turning that $200 into $3,700. So, hoping you guys can get out to Harris Cherokee soon. Would love to shoot some craps with you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that is our hope eventually.
Yes, and that's a nice win. Wow.
Yeah, if somebody's going to roll for an hour and a half, whatever system you're using, if you're using a system, is going to work. The Iron Cross is, it's okay. But again, you roll for an hour and a half, you're getting paid on every single roll, right? So that's kind of nice, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're pressing, you're going to have a good roll. An hour and a half, even if you're not pressing, you're going to make a fair amount of money.
Yep. Okay, next up is Nate.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Nate from Atlanta here. And instead of a trip report, I want to talk about nicknames. Early in my gambling career, I was downtown Vegas at, I believe, the Horseshoe. It was my very first time playing craps. There's a guy at the table that had this like really loud shirt with flames all over it. And we just gave him the nickname Marty Flames. I have no idea if his name was even Marty or not, but that was his nickname. He was on fire. The table was making a ton of money. Like we were that table in a casino that everyone was looking at, just having a great time. It was a fantastic way to start playing craps. Fast forward a few years, we were at MGM Grand playing late into the night, and there was a gentleman at the table we named Buttons. No idea how we gave him that name. Nobody seems to remember, but Buttons was getting ready to have a kid, and so we were all trying to make Buttons money for diapers. Like the whole table was in on it. We'd make prop bets for him, like hard A, Buttons needs diapers. Hard 8 would hit. We would give Buttons the winnings. He made a ton of money. And hopefully Buttons and his family are having a great, prosperous life now. Over at Harris Cherokee, we have a dark side player that we call Evil Steven. Evil Steven is kind of this jerk face investment banker type, flies in for a ton of money, plays the dark side, and is not shy to gloat about how much he's winning while the entire rest of the table is taking it into the shorts. And then actually this past weekend, at a table playing Spanish 21, very first hand, I did not play by the book, and a player at the table took umbrage with that. I reminded him that, A, it's my money, B, there's other tables he might prefer to enjoy, and C, if he knew anything about the game, he would know that statistically that does not matter in a multi-deck shoe. So that kind of settled him down a little bit, but what was awesome is the very next hand for him, he had one of those crazy split and double down opportunities that he completely bungled and wound up losing a ton of money. So a little bit of karmic retribution. And because of all that, we decided to call him Dumbass Dave. Curious if anyone else out there gives nicknames to strangers they've never met before, and if those things have stuck, what kind of cool stories might be behind some of those nicknames. So interested to hear your thoughts, and, you know, maybe other callers have some cool nicknames and stories as well. Thanks, guys. Love what you do.
Yeah, alliteration is good for nicknames. So Dumbass Dave. That was my favorite of the ones.
I like Dumbass Dave. We give quite a few names to people, don't we?
Well, I guess, but, you know, not as fun as that. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, we say Lee Harvey, but that's not for a specific person. Come on, Lee Harvey. I do remember years ago, Mike, we were playing at Caesar's Palace, and I said to you, you know, the shooter kind of looks like Burl Ives.
Right.
For those who don't know who Burl Ives is, he was a folk singer, American folk singer, best known now as the snowman narrator in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? So, you know, he had, and the snowman kind of looks like him. They made him look like him. So he's got the mustache.
Right.
So, you know, he's at the other side of the table, and we're yelling, Burl! Come on, Burl! You got it, Burl! I don't know if he heard us. He knew what was going on, but that was fun. But again, I don't think anything quite as clever as what Nate was talking about. So we might have to, as we move forward, what do you think that guy's name is? What should we call him? We'll start thinking about that. Let's remind each other Blackhawk. We'll do that. Okay. We can even give nicknames to some of our friends.
Dumbass Dave. I like that. Oh.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's me, Sean. I've been a long-time listener, but never actually reported in. And I'm in Vegas, and the only reason I'm reporting in is to rub it in. I rolled in on Wednesday night at about 7 o'clock.
I know where this is going.
Got unpacked and ran over to Planet Hollywood. I couldn't find any craps tables that were low enough for me. They're all like $25, and there was a $50 table. I was like, no, I don't have a bankroll for that. So I looked at some bubble craps. Actually, they don't have bubble craps. They have crapless craps. The problem is they don't have a don't pass line, and that's how I play. So then I decided to walk around and just enjoy myself, maybe get a drink or two, and I stopped at a video poker. And, well, lo and behold, I'm sitting there on my phone chatting around, and I hit something on the machine, and it's just, I don't know what it was. I just heard it go bing, 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 bing. No alarms went off. It just kept counting up and up and up. And I'm like, holy crap. Yep. It was a royal flush. And I held one card. I held the Jack of Diamonds. And every other card in succession was diamonds also. It was pretty amazing. I only bet a quarter, so it was only about $1,000. But there's only one person I personally know that has ever seen a royal flush for themselves, and that was my brother back when we were in Vegas before. So I just want to let you know about that. And I'm staying at the Marriott Grand Chateau. I love this place because I don't have to saunter through a wild casino to get to my room. I just walk in, say hi, and go to sleep. Anyway, I'm having a good time. I'm going to be here till next Wednesday, and love your podcast. I've been listening for a long time, and keep it up. And thank you very much.
All right. Congratulations, Sean. Mike, you and I are numb to this now. We're no longer envious or like, oh, when's it going to happen? We're just happy when we hear that somebody hit a royal flush. Good for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking when he said that, he draws 4 cards and gets a royal. You know how many times I've had like 4 to the royal and I just need 1 and it never happens?
No, you're beyond this, Mike. I just told the listeners we're both numb, so that includes you.
Okay. I am happy for him, and I'd like to have been there to see that.
Yeah. But... drawing 4. Because, it's not like you get your phone ready. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, that's a nice surprise.
We used to play so much video poker with our free play at Terrace, Southern California. Yeah. Since then, since I've not in San Diego anymore, I don't play that much. Occasionally I'll play a little video poker, but same with you probably. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing.
Craps.
I get my free play in table game chips, and it makes sense now. The reason we used to play slots and video poker up at Harrah's, the free play was twice as valuable doing that than if we used it at the table. And that's not the case for me anymore. So, yeah, we seriously may never hit a royal flush because we just don't play that much video poker anymore.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
While we're talking about that free play, here's an interesting thing. At Waterloo, so if I put a $25 5 and 5 comes up, now the chip out there is the funny money,
Right.
They pay me $35 in real chips, and then they take the funny chip away and replace it with a real $25 chip.
Interesting. Huh.
At Diamond Joe, they don't do that. Your funny chips just stays there, so you can win on it multiple times, but they don't replace it.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, but what if I just said, take my bets down?
You're right. Okay. That actually is better because now not only did they pay it, they're replacing it with a real chip. Interesting.
And I've never, just the other day, thought to myself, wait a minute, why don't I just take that bet down if I have more fake chips?
Yeah, and then converting them.
Just keep converting them to real chips, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that is good for you. It's only slightly good because when they give you a real chip, that's really worth $25. You could go cash it in. When it's play money chip, you have to wager it, so it's not exactly worth $25. It's $25 minus whatever the house edge is on the bet that you're making, right? So unless you're using it as odds, it's worth a little bit less than that. So, okay, interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good deal, I think. I mean, it's not like you're taking a huge advantage of them, but you got a little bit of an edge there.
All right, let's hear from Steve.
Hey, guys. Great show. This is Steve in Nebraska. A couple of quick comments on your most recent episode. The new craft game that you mentioned, All Day Hardways or something like that, I get what you're saying about the math. If you do kind of the classic dice probabilities, that gets pretty messy with all the different orders and combinations and stuff. But I think you can simplify it and think about it in terms of what do I need to advance and what makes me lose. So then in step 1, you have 4 ways you can advance, 6 ways you can lose. So 4 out of 10. Then step 2, you now have 3 ways to advance, still 6 ways to lose. So now 3 out of 9. And then 2 out of 8 and 1 out of 7. And if you do all that multiplication, I think that simplifies down to 1 in 210. Which is really close to what your sim had, so I'm pretty confident that that works. And then the other thing was the gambling in the new tax bill. I just wanted to mention that Russell Fox is going to be on the Munchkin and Dancer show next week talking about that, so that'll have a lot of good info in there.
Okay, good. Yes, I highly recommend that episode of Gambling with an Edge with Russell Fox. He's a tax expert, and he talks about the new tax law that was in the big, beautiful bill that we talked about on the last episode, where gamblers will only be able to deduct 90% of their losses from their winnings. and he knows what he's talking about. He goes into a lot of detail. It's a fun listen to because you hear of some of the sort of ridiculous things that are laws or precedent in some court cases and what you have to declare and what defines a session. That's very important. You know, losses and wins, they're broken down into sessions. Whereas I'm thinking, you know, I'm having one session my whole life, my gambling session. Right?
Yeah. Right.
But no, a great listen. And again, this law will not affect most of us because we're recreational gamblers and we lose at the end of the year. But it's really going to affect professional gamblers who have a high volume of wagers with a low margin. So in other words, they're making a lot of bets, they're risking a lot, but they're only making a small amount of that in actual profit for the year. And this is poker players, sports bettors in particular. It could affect them terribly, where they'd be having to pay taxes on figures much higher than they have in the past. So anyway, give that a listen, Gambling with an Edge with Russell Fox.
Yeah, I think the sports bettors are really going to be hating that.
Yeah, they might be affected the most. We'll see. It's ongoing. It's very fluid kind of thing, but have a listen to that episode. And then, yeah, Steve, thanks for the math on that Hardways all day. When I originally was looking into it, I thought the math was going to be as difficult as figuring out the all small tall. But it's not, because there's only one way to roll each of the Hardways. You know, all small tall, you've got so many things you got to deal with. There are 5 ways to roll a 6. There are 3 ways to roll a 4. You know, you got to take all that into account. But what he said, it is very easy math. It's exactly what he described. And it works out to exactly 1 in 210, which was pretty close to the simulation that I ran last episode. Anyway, the house edge is still about 20%. It's not that great, but a pretty fun bet, and a lot of people are talking about it, and it might be spreading across the country.
I think it's good they come up with new things like that because people, you know, keeps interest in the game, right?
Oh, yeah. And
like, oh, I'll try this.
You know, there are all sorts of side bets that are born and die quickly because either they're too confusing or people aren't seeing results. This is a very simple one with a high payout, so that's why it might be successful. All right, let's hear from Rev Dan.
This is Rev Dan from Tulsa, and I had a few questions I hope you might address on your next episode. I was in Chicago over Memorial Day weekend for a little getaway with my wife. Had a great trip, really enjoyed the city of Chicago. And while I was there, I had the opportunity one evening when my wife wanted to go to bed early, I snuck off to the Downtown Bally's Casino, which, as I understand it, is a temporary casino while they build a much larger resort on the south side of the city. I don't have much of a report to give on the casino because I went straight to the craps table, but I will tell you that it was a smokeless casino, which I loved. I ordered a drink and, handed the waitress a couple bucks for a tip and was told I was about $12 or $13 short because drinks are not free there. And I wondered, how does that work? Is that typically based on state law, or is that more of a casino to casino decision? So for the first time in a long time, actually hit the all on the ATS. Well, I didn't hit it. The guy next to me did. And it was very exciting. Of course, it was 175 to 1 payout, which was very nice odds. But a strange thing happened. They did not pay me right away. And I've hit it a few times in various places over the years and always got paid immediately, but was told that the eye in the sky had to verify it. And that took about 20 minutes. And I'm just wondering if that's normal. I'm sure you all have hit it at various places across the country. Do you typically get paid right away, or has that also been kind of casino to casino decision? As I think about it, 175 to 1, it makes sense that they would want to check that out, but it was the first time I'd experienced that. And of course, in the 20 minutes that I waited, I gave back all of my winnings. So maybe that's why they did that. And then my last question has nothing to do with that, really connected to your last episode, the caller who talked about getting in trouble for keeping the Tito ticket. And I just had a few kind of hypothetical scenarios for you all. I'd love to get your thoughts. If you found casino chips on the floor, I'm wondering, is there a certain denominational level at which you would just keep it? If you saw a $1 chip or a $5 chip, are you going to go to the hassle of turning that in, or do you just keep it, or maybe, hand it to the cocktail waitress? Is there a cutoff at that? And then same question, if it was cash, does that change the proposition for you? If it was a $20 bill, do you keep it or do you go through the same process you would if it was a casino chip? And then, same question for, is it because you're in a casino that you would do it and that's the rules? What if you were at a Padres game or in the subway or in a public place and you found a $20 bill or even a $100 bill? At what point do you just decide to keep it? At what point do you go through the proper channels, give it to security or go to the local police station, that sort of thing? Just curious your thoughts on that. Guys, I love the show and appreciate all you do.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, let's deal with the questions that he had there at the end. In a casino, Mike, the denomination of the chip, would that change your view on keeping it or turning in?
No.
No, me neither.
Because it's just not worth the hassle trying to keep it.
Yeah, and cash or chip, it wouldn't matter to me. And if you don't want to go through the hassle of turning it over to security, just leave it.
Just walk away.
The point is, don't take it and use it. That's really the critical thing. But no, denomination wouldn't matter. Now, as far as finding something in public, well, let me back up for a second. First of all, the casino personnel are, or at least should be, ready to handle this kind of situation more than people working in other establishments, right? Because there's so much money going on. So if it's out in the public, we might have a different take on it. Now, if it really is in the public, like a park or something, well, what can you do? Maybe pick it up and see if somebody is close by and maybe they dropped. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
You're talking about like at a stadium, like at a Padres game or something. Well, again, you could track down security or say, hey, I found this $20 bill. But again, they're not going to be as prepared to deal with it as a casino employee. So I'd probably still turn it in to somebody if it makes sense. It's really going to depend on the property.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you, Mark. I one time found a $20 bill outside of a theater. There was nobody around, and I said to Lynn, somebody dropped a 20. So I picked it up, and I just sat down on a bench and waited. We waited a little bit. We were early, waiting for somebody to come and be looking around, like they had lost something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we must have waited 10, 15 minutes and nobody came. And I just kept it because I said, if I go up to the window and just say, oh, somebody dropped this, they're just going to put it in their pocket.
It could be, right.
They're not going to try it. Hey, did anyone lose a $20 bill?
Right.
So I kept it in that case.
But again, casinos are set up to handle this. They've got cameras there. They can see who lost it and go back and figure out what happened.
They figure it out.
So, for that question, denomination doesn't matter, whether it's cash, chip, Tito ticket, anything. Now, Andrew was asking about a delay on getting paid on the all. Now, we have been in casinos where, for whatever reason, they will wait till the shooter is done before they pay it off. It doesn't sound like this was the case here, though, because Dan said while he was waiting for the payout, he kept losing money. So that sounds like there were multiple 7 outs right before they got it. We've never had to wait that long. No, 20 minutes. Yeah, if it's a fire bet, that's different because of the payout, and they want to make sure that all the bets are out there, and they've got to give you a W2G, but
It shouldn't take that long for the camera upstairs. They just rewind. Oh, there was a 4, there was a 5,
We're not familiar with that.
Some casinos pay it immediately.
Yeah. And then whether you get free drinks at a casino or not, that is usually going to be a state law. Not always, and maybe there's some gray area. For example, Mike, at Diamond Joe Worth, they don't just give you free drinks, but you can ask for a voucher from the boxman or the pit boss. Oh, yeah, here you go. And you can use that to get a drink, and it is free. So, there's some gray area there, but usually it's a state law. All right, next up is Jason. Jason, your call broke up quite a bit, so I had to edit it down, but the point will come across. Here we go.
Hey there, this is Jason from LA calling in regards to a recent message about whether or not you as a 7-star or Diamond or some tier member at a Caesars property can get free drinks, free Starbucks, free convenience store. I'm a regular at the Lake Tahoe properties, and they do have for Lake Tahoe that special 4 drinks. You can go to any of the machines and pop in your card, and you get 4 slips of paper. for drinks just at the property. So hopefully that might clear that up. It still is ongoing, and so if you are in Tahoe for the Summer Splendor or the Winter Wonder, then you can certainly enjoy 4 drinks, including Starbucks, per day.
Okay, so yes, last episode, Julio had talked about how you now have to be 7 stars to get drinks for free like at Starbucks. You get 4 drinks a day, but that if you're just Diamond, even Diamond Plus, you can get 4 drinks a day, but not at all the locations, like not a Starbucks, for example. Now, the thing that kind of caught our attention was Julio had said that you could do it at the convenience stores, the gift shops there. Julio wrote to us and said, I'm probably misremembering that. You probably couldn't do it at the gift shops, but you could do it at the little counter places, that just happen to have Pepsi or something, right? You're using it like there. So, yeah, he sent me a big list of all the places that do allow it now. And yes, Starbucks is on there for 7 stars players too. That will count as one of the 4 drinks. They used to use vouchers. Sounds like not so much anymore. It's just that when you are ordering it, you need to tell them ahead of time, hey, I want this to go towards my 4 free drinks for the day. So thanks, Jason, and thanks, Julio, for clearing that up. All right, last call.
Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Adam from Colorado. Been quite a while since I've called the show. Still been listening, but I'm actually binging on episodes. I'm getting caught up, and I'm actually glad I did because it sounds like you guys are going to be in Blackhawk here in a couple of months. So if that's still the case, hope to meet up with you guys. Anyway, I had a quick question. Went up to Blackhawk last night, kind of on a whim. I had some free play, so got to the craps table and actually ended up doing really well. Ended up buying in for 200 and cashing out for about 500. So a low roller like myself, it's a pretty good night. Got me thinking, in terms of table games and getting credit for comps and offers, what would be a better situation? Like when I left the table, like if I somehow could have left the table and the boxman didn't record how much I had won. So in their minds, they just recorded the initial $200 buy-in and didn't record that I had won the $300. Would it be better if it was that, or if they did record my winnings, which I presume they did because I had to color up when I left? What do you think I would get better offers with? Would it be basically them thinking that I lost 200 or that I won 300? And again, to be clear, I know that you never play just to get offers, but I'm just kind of curious. I have no idea. I mean, presumably they always want you to come back, so maybe it's solely based on how much you buy in for, and they don't really care how much you win or lose. But anyway, just thought I'd get your thoughts. If you happen to know, that'd be great. Still love the show, getting caught up, and maybe see you guys here in September. All right, take care.
All right, thanks, Adam. How you're rated at a table game does not depend on how much you buy in for and how much you cash out for. It doesn't even depend on whether you won or lost. Now, the rating at table games is done manually, so there might be some exceptions to that. But they are more concerned about how much you're wagering, what bets you're wagering on, and finally, how long you've been at the table. So it really doesn't matter when you're cashing out. They're not looking at that. And yeah, they do enter that into the machine. But really, your comps and your rating will depend on the types of bets you're making, how much you're wagering, and how long you played.
Yeah, the casinos are mostly concerned about how much you're betting per roll in craps or per hand in blackjack, and then how long you sustain that.
Yeah, what your theoretical loss will be based on the way you're playing. Yes.
Right. Not whether you won or lost necessarily, but just how much you're willing to risk.
Exactly.
I think sometimes, if you buy in for a larger amount and you start off with bigger bets, then they kind of put you, he's
right. That's more important than how much you cash out for it. You want to bet more when you see that the pit boss is watching and entering data into his terminal, right? So, yes.
Yeah, because later on, if the pit boss is walking around or doing other things, he's not really keeping track at that point.
Yeah.
They just kind of like, it looked like he averaged, so much a bet. I've even heard pit bosses ask the dealers, how much did he average?
Yeah.
And they'll say, he was putting out 150 at a time or whatever, stuff like that.
All right. So again, Blackhawk, September 11th through the 14th. So Adam, hopefully we'll see you there. That's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Nathan, from Brian and Sarah, and from the National Association of Casino Party Operators, also known as NACPO. And we got an additional donation from NACPO, says a karma donation for 2025 NACPO conference in Vegas. So thank you very much for that donation. We also got a donation from our friend Melanie. Thanks for your wonderful show. Can't wait to roll the bones in Blackhawk soon. Melanie from Colorado. Looking forward to that, Melanie.
Yeah, that's another reason for me to go to Blackhawk.
Oh, good. I'm glad you included Melanie. Good.
Actually, I include everybody who's there.
And finally, a donation from listener David. Heading to Vegas with my buddies in 2 weeks for our annual trip. Been streaming your old episodes to get in the proper state of mind. Here's a small karma donation to hopefully help keep the show ad-free. Thanks for entertaining us all, David. Oh, well, thank you very much, David. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That merchandise at 50% off. I didn't mention that last time. It's still 50% off. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. Dr. Mike, one of the things we want to talk about here at the end is you are going to be going on a family vacation. So our next episode will be in 3 weeks, but we will follow it with another episode 1 week later to kind of catch up.
Yeah, so we're going to miss one scheduled episode and make up for it by doing 2 in a row.
Correct.
Yeah, that sounds good. We get back on a Tuesday late at night, and that Monday would have been the time we release it, so we might as well just wait till the next Monday.
I don't want you to record as soon as you get back. You need a day to recover at least. That's going to be a long trip. You're getting in late, so yeah.
We're getting in late, and I don't think I'll have any opportunities to go to any casinos in Greece or Italy that I know of. Now, if I happen to walk by one or see something, I might pop in to give a report about that, but I don't know of any.
No plans, yeah.
Mostly seeing a lot of family and tourist things, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have fun.
Yep. It's going to be fun. It's going to be extremely hot. The day we land, 99 degrees in Athens, so a little warm.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.
Come on, my card only has a 1 in 52 chance of getting picked anyway.
How did you know that? You're like Rain Man. Quick, how many toothpicks are on the ground?
0.
We need to go to Vegas.